Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. And today I wanted to try making something that I found on someone else's channel, like most things that I've been doing when it comes to Indian Pakistani cooking. And this one is called Pahadi Aloo. Aloo being potato. Pahadi or Pahad means mountain. Pahadi means from the mountain. So Pahadi Aloo means mountain style potato. It's a weird translation. Basically what it means is that the people who live in the mountainside, this is their potato dish that they like to have. What's interesting about this is that there's actually no tomatoes in this at all, which is why I really want to try it. It's simple in terms of the ingredients being used, and it's mainly whole spices. Now, one of the whole spices is actually coriander seeds, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a fan of the texture of coriander seeds when I bite down on it in a meal, but I do want to give this a try with just doing whole coriander seeds, because coriander seeds actually have a bit of a floral and a tartness to it, which will impart into a dish. By keeping it whole in this, I believe you're basically retaining that tartness as opposed to breaking it down, but more than likely I'll be making this again, and when I do, I'm going to try actually grinding down the coriander seeds and see if the taste is different in any way. Just a heads up, we actually have our garage door open today because I want to be able to vent out the cooking smoke or anything that comes out of it, because we still don't have our ventilation installed. To be honest, even if we did have the ventilation installed, I think I would still open the garage door because it would probably be quieter than the ventilation fan. And we don't want to be rude to you guys with some odd noises, but there will be odd noises from outside. So first, let's just go over the spices being used. We have whole cumin, whole coriander seeds, we have turmeric, and asafoetida. The asafoetida that we get in Canada is more of a paler color because there's other things mixed into it. But if you see asafoetida powder in someone else's video, you may see that it's more of a yellow color, which is probably more true to what it should be. But we get what we can get in Canada. We will also be adding in whole black cardamom and whole cloves as well. Now, I have two kinds of cinnamon in our household. I have both the cassia and the Ceylon cinnamon. The major differences between the two are the level of aroma and pungency that it can impart in a dish. The cassia cinnamon, I find it's a lot stronger, so it'll be more of a cinnamony taste, therefore a little goes a long way. Whereas with the Ceylon, I find that it's more subtle in cinnamon flavor, but it's best for stews because you can leave it in the stew for long periods of time and it won't overpower the stew in any way. If anything, it'll just complement it even more so. Plus, Ceylon cinnamon is quite easy to break, whereas cassia, you have to really put your elbow grease into it. Where I saw this video is on Chetna's channel. I will actually provide a link down below. If you ever see links in our description or in the comments down below, it's because these are not our recipes. It's a discovery route that we're both taking. Mostly me, because I want to get to know Indian and Pakistani cooking, including Bangladeshi cooking, which will be explored later on. I'm planning on those as well. So we want to be accurate in letting folks know where we're actually getting all this stuff from, and then how we are incorporating in our dishes. The traditional way of cooking this dish is that they get new potatoes in the season. That way, the little new potatoes, that way they can also cook with the skin on, since it's going to be very tender. I don't have any new potatoes, and I don't feel like going out shopping specifically just for small potatoes. I have a couple of potatoes in our pantry that have been there for about a week and a half. They're a little soft and to the touch, but they'll be fine for this cooking. If anything, it just means it may cook a little faster. The other ingredients are ginger, garlic, and green chilies. Now, I've already made ginger garlic paste way ahead of time. This has been in our fridge for about two and a half weeks. I made this by pureeing tons of cloves of garlic, big heaping thing of ginger, a couple of green chilies, and coriander stems. I then added water, a little bit of oil, and some salt because I knew I'd be keeping it in the fridge, and the salt would just help preserve it a little bit. I have to say, having this in the fridge is really handy. It has not gone bad, knock on wood, and it's still been quite potent, which means it's perfect for this kind of cooking. So I have a cheat. I already have these made. In the video, they actually punched down the ginger, garlic, and green chilies in a mortar and pestle. The other thing that we're going to be using is amchur powder. Now, amchur powder, if you've watched our mint chutney video, I do a brief explanation of what amchur powder is. It is of the green mango varieties. They're only about this big. And from what I know, because the seeds can be quite big inside, you're primarily getting the skin and some of the meat. They dehydrate it. If they can, they will do it in the sun because it'll just be better, I suppose. And then they grind it down into a fine powder, and that's what this is. This imparts more of a tang, tart, sourness flavor, which will be added near the end of the dish. It's actually, I love having this around. It's really, really good. Really, really, really good. And of course, salt. The other thing that we're going to be adding are a couple of bay leaves. Now, they, in Chetna's video, just have the bay leaves that you normally would see in North America and in parts of Europe, but I managed to find Indian bay leaves, and these are distinctly different than the average bay leaf that you have probably been accustomed to seeing. These bay leaves, these bay leaves actually have an aroma to them, and it's almost like a minty, fennelly, cinnamony scent to it, where I don't really get from the bay leaves that you would normally see in a grocery store. And in terms of the look, it is also very distinct in terms of that it has 3 veins going through the leaf, as opposed to just 1 vein going through the other bay leaf. If you're able to find this, try it. If not, it's not a big deal. Just use whatever bay leaf you have. But I wanted to actually give these a try. Now, the cooking oil. The cooking oil is important. We are going to be using mustard seed oil, which is what this recipe calls for. And the thing you need to be aware of with mustard seed oil, it can be used in marinades. I actually use this for when I'm marinating chicken for making tandoori chicken. But when you're cooking with it, as the main base oil, you want this to smoke. All other oils, you generally don't want them to smoke because then it starts to denature the oil, but in this case, you do actually want the mustard oil to smoke. One, it brings down a bit of the pungency and the taste. It can be quite, if you're not accustomed to it, it can be quite powerful. I mean, it's mustard oil, it's from mustard seeds. And 2, there are actually some benefits to it that gets released, I guess, in terms of free radicals when it hits a smoking point. So in this case, we will be actually smoking this oil, or get to the point of smoking this oil before we add any of our stuff. This oil has a very high smoking point. So shall we get to cooking? I've already chopped down some shallots. I didn't have any white onions, so I chopped down a bunch of shallots. Already have ginger garlic. I actually wanted to add a little more heat because I like chili, because I feel the world would be a little bit bland if there were no chilies in there. So I'm adding 1 extra chili to the dish. Since we don't have that many potatoes, I want this to be manageable. And yes, we'll be leaving seeds in the chili. Once the mustard oil has reached its smoking point, after a couple seconds, add in the whole cumin seeds, the whole coriander seeds, cloves, black cardamom, cinnamon, and the bay leaf, and let them temper a bit. Once they've tempered, then just add in your ginger, garlic, and peppers. You want to cook the onions and all the aromatics until it has, or until the oil has started separating a bit. That means a lot of the water has evaporated within the onions, ginger, garlic, and pepper, and that enables the flavors to really concentrate. It is an important step to have. You don't want to really rush this because that does define the flavor and the flavor base of any curry dish. Oh, it smells really good. Chili. Coat everything. Now they mention in the recipe to make sure to use hot water when adding water to the dish. I think it goes for anything that you're going to be cooking, specifically meat, because if you add cold water to it to bring it up to a boil, then you're actually seizing the meat a little bit and it becomes tough and a little dry. Same thing with vegetables. They may not become tough and dry, but it won't be the same, and you'll also won't enable the flavors that you're building right now to continue on. If anything, you're seizing the buildup of flavors. I think I need a thesaurus when I'm doing this sometimes.
Smell it cooking from across the city, so I think I'm going home.
Let's put this in a bowl so we can both try it. I don't know what the salt level is like, but it's always easier to add a bit more salt later.
Much easier to kind of take salt out.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey. A spoon for you, spoon for me. It's very hot in temperature. So
Yes, looks steaming hot.
Oh, sorry. I cut off your head.
I'm not using it.
That might do it. Ah, there you are. It's hot today.
It is. Ooh. This looks really, really good. I don't know if you can see that, but and in such a pretty pan.
No tomatoes in this.
It smells very different. It doesn't smell like what you've been cooking for curries.
Yum. Yum.
It is good. What's this called?
Called Pahadi Aloo. It means aloo, or
Aloo is potato.
Pahadi is from the mountain. So people who live in the mountains.
Ah, mountain taters.
That's really good. There was a dish I used to sometimes have when I was a kid in Pakistan, and both the aroma, because you get a bit of cinnamon in there, and the taste reminds me of it. I mean,
What's the spices?
coriander seeds, whole, which is giving the tartness.
Right.
Cumin seeds, a little bit of asafoetida, the Ceylon cinnamon, bay leaf, clove. Like some of the spices, like the black cardamom, the cinnamon, and the black cloves, are normally used for meat dishes, so it's giving a bit of a meatier.
But there's also like almost a citrus. I guess that's a coriander seed.
And a bit of amchur powder, which is the green mango powder.
Right. It's very good.
Yum.
That would be good with just about anything.
It would be.
Like I'm thinking, chicken chunks or...
Yeah, this would be a fantastic side dish if you want to do that way. If you want to make it as a main dish, like if you're a vegetarian or even a vegan.
You could easily do that with tofu.
Yeah.
Be delicious.
Well, if you're a vegan, just do it with a potato, but there's no fat, there's no animal product in here.
Right. It's very good.
Have it with rice. I would love to have this with like a puri or a roti.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. How's the heat level for you in terms of
It's
chili?
fine.
Yeah. I can just eat this like this. And I actually don't mind the coriander seeds because I'm not a fan of biting down on coriander seeds.
I didn't even notice.
I think they kind of sort of soften.
They're really good.
You made it home just in
Excellent.
time.
Yeah, good timing. I could literally smell it. We have the garage door open and I could smell it as I biked up.
Did you?
Yeah.
Our neighbors must be so irritated with this because
Or deeply envious, I
I
think.
was gonna say because we don't really we make enough for both of us. We don't really do a large amount.
Yeah, we were doing that for a while, but it got crazy.
So, sorry neighbors.
Very good. Excellent.
Thank you for watching. I'm glad Rob got here just in time to taste it.
Just to remind you to subscribe
Yes.
and like.
And hit the notification bell. And there'll be more videos coming. So, thank you for tuning in.
See you again soon.
Bye. Perfect timing, Rob.